Narito na.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is your host with the most, King Geo in the house. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys and girls who did subscribe to my channel for the giveaway of Call of Duty Cold War. Thank you guys, Dragon Recon. You were the winner. I'm going to do another one for January the 1st for New Year's. So stay tuned for that giveaway. It's also the same thing but a different game, or maybe the same game. But anyway, I'm sorry that I haven't posted a video for a while. I haven't done my lives. I've been working in my job. I get off of work at 5 o'clock in the morning, but that's over and done with. Shift change. It's the same, maybe same hours, but different job. But I find out my hours on Monday. But anyways, I've been wrapping my head about this. And the first thing I do want to say to Over Republic is that, I congratulate you guys for coming out to vote. 73.5 or 6 million people had voted and still counting, 7.6 million and still counting. So that's a strong base, more than when it was 2016. And that just shows that you guys are out there voting for the Republican Party, which is good as far as the Democrat, the both parties are concerned. The Democratic Party is close to 80 million votes, which is also great. It's a feat in itself of both parties. But this more video is more to the Republican people, the people who are in the Republican Party. If you've been following me, you know that I'm bipartisan. I was a Democrat at one point in my life, but I have since changed. It's been like 10 years, and I just go with whomever I see fit that runs the country. I was a Democrat because I believed in their theory, in their theology. Help the poor, help those, and stuff like that. Because we have to help each other out. But I also have conservative views. Certain things that has nothing to do with politics. It's just my view. I don't go about what society says. I don't go about what Republican says. I don't care what Democrat says. I go what King Geo says, and I have views in everything. I have views in I'm pro-life, but I'm not against abortion. Isn't that weird, right? I'm against the death penalty. I'm against a lot of things, and I'm in pro of a lot of things. I'm in pro that we should not let people who are getting welfare, who are getting Section 8, or getting all these things that are able to work are not working. I believe that we should take our system differently as far as welfare reform, medical, healthcare reform, immigration reform, criminal reform, criminal justice reform. All those things have to be reformed. But my views are different from what a Republican or a Democrat view is, because I know, coming from the streets, coming from the hood, coming from the South Bronx, I know what it is to live in poverty. So I know the struggle that it is, but I also know that from that struggle, you can overcome that and you can become a person. Not that you're not a person now, but you can become a person. You can become successful in whatever you choose to be. Because success, I don't see it as you have to have all the money in the world. No, success is what you think is success for you. Everybody's success is different. All right, I'm happy. I'm content with certain things that I do. That fulfills me. Maybe you fulfill me with money. Maybe you fulfill me with houses. Maybe you fulfill me with just being simple. Everybody's fulfillment, everybody's desire, it's different. So whatever success is for you, that's up to you. But you don't have to. Everybody that comes from the streets or comes from the hood doesn't have to be on welfare. Everybody doesn't have to be in Section 8. You don't have to do that. But that's for another video in itself. But going back to the Republicans. So I got to congratulate the Republicans for coming out and voting, but I also have to put a stop on this and say, you know what? You guys are being dragged by Donald Trump. You guys are being dragged by a man who is a narcissist. Okay? We are on November 20th, which is my birthday. Woo! And we are being dragged. And I mean, as a nation, as all, we're being dragged by this man who refuses He refuses to concede. Okay? Okay, when he lost the election November the 3rd, all right, he has the right to recount. Georgia just said the hand counts are valid. Okay? Out of all these, out of the recount, he only gained 2,000 votes or 1,900 votes. Okay, recounts don't do much. If you have a small margin, like it was in Florida back in 2000, when it was Gore versus Bush, that was 527 votes of a difference. Now that's a margin, right? That's real small, right? Even I would say, no, I want to recount because that's small. That could change. You know, the same way they changed for Donald Trump, that he got 1,900 votes. It could flip. You know, Gore could have gotten 600 votes out of that, right? But what Gore do? Well, Gore only chose the counties that were Democratic counties that he knew that he was going to win in. He chose to have a recount in that. Had he chose to do a recount in other counties, but they probably were Republicans, he probably would have gotten more votes. So you learn from that, right? So that's 527 votes. So that you will recount. This is a man who was losing by 14,000 votes in Georgia, and he's doing a recount. He paid $3 million to do a recount in Wisconsin, and now he has two GOPs from Michigan going to the White House to try to circumvent, to try to convince these two GOP leaders to try to do something about the votes in Michigan. All right? He's undermining your votes, whether you're Republican or Democrats. He's undermining the vote. He's undermining the democracy that we are built on. He's undermining the system that we have. I'm going to show you. I want to show you something. Okay, look. You don't have to be a genius to know about this. There were 78 million or 79 million Democratic voters, and there were 73 million, close to 74,000. I mean, 71 million voters who voted, right? So you have an excess of close to 160 million votes, right? So when you voted, you remember that you went to vote. Let's just say this is the ballot, right? So you saw up here, every state is different, I'm assuming. So you hear up here, you said President Trump, Vice President Pence, down here the candidate Biden and Harris, right? And here you had your senators, here you had your local business, your local commissioners or whatever the case may be, but they were all in one ballot, right? All in one ballot. So this goes into the system like this, or whichever way you want to use it. It goes into the system like this, right? So it calculated all these names correctly, but it didn't calculate this thing, Donald Trump. So it messed up Donald Trump, but it didn't mess up this. The House of Representatives gained, the Republicans gained 5 seats there, all right, in the House of Representatives, and it maintained the Senate. So this paper, it just damaged his name, but didn't damage the whole entire ballot. Don't you think that's odd? Okay. Now don't tell me about Dominion Corporation, which I'm surprised why they haven't said anything yet. I guess they don't want to get in. They don't want to get in a tug of war with politics and say, you know what, our machines are safe. Because once they say that, then people are like, oh, you know, they're doing politics. You know, they're trying to do their image. But I would, you know, I would say something, but afterwards, after the elections, after all this is done, over and done with. But to say that the computer system, the algorithm was rigged to switch Biden from Trump to Biden, that's kind of, I mean, can it be done? Of course it can, because it's a computer, it's a chip. Anything you put in that computer, it can be done. It can be done. But don't you think that all those computer chips, all those SIM cards, all those cards that are there, they're not going to be reviewed by tech? Of course it is. And if they find out there was an irregularity, they'll say, listen, this was rigged. Simple, you know, it's a simple thing. So I don't think that this company would force itself or make itself look bad and to lose money and to lose reputation and lose the chance of going to jail. They can go to jail. So Donald Trump is trying to undermine the decisions of the voters. That means you guys too, Republicans. That means that, let's just say he decides, you know, somehow he's trying to get that the legislation of that state decides the electors. He decides to vote, right? And by by map wise, if that was the case, this only happened twice in history, but that was in the 1800s. If that's the case, that the states decide to do to get the winner, what happens is that he wins because there's more Republican states than there are Democrat states. That's what he's trying to do. But what he fails to realize is that they're not going to do that, because if you do that, even if you're a Republican, you are about to lose a lot of people. Because even though 73 million people voted, well, I don't think that 73 million people want to say, my vote didn't count. I'm going to let this person, one person, because there's only one vote per state, that one person is going to vote for me and decide who I choose to. No. It's not going to go easy. I don't think it's going to go easy with the Republican Party as well as the Democratic Party. I don't think anyone who voted, any of the constituents from either the Democrats or the Republicans, are going to handle that great. They're not going to do that. No, I don't think no politician would risk his or her political career just to give Donald Trump a win. I understand it's politics, but you have to, Republicans, you have to set aside your patronage. You have to set aside your patriotism to your loyalism. Donald Trump is not a loyalist. Donald Trump will sell the shirt of his mother's back just to make a profit. Okay, he's holding on to 73 million votes. He's holding on to conceding because he has an agenda behind this, and he wants to take you guys down with him. And he wants to show that if he goes down, you guys are there to help him out, money wise or whatever the case may be. So he wants you there. So he's going to make up these cockamamie stories. He got Giuliani, who's a criminal attorney, doing his legal work in political. That's not the way to go. Then you have this other lady, I forgot her name, that she was on the news yesterday, saying about Dominion, the company Dominion, who has the machines do the votes, that their algorithm is all messed up, and she has proof. So then if you have proof, stop dragging this so long, as you say you have proof, and just present your thing to the courts. Plain and simple. You got proof. As an attorney, you want the proof to come out, and you want the proof to come out quickly because you want to get this over and done with, and you want to move on to your next case. But if you have proof, that is concrete proof, you don't wait for 2 or 3 months or for 4 or 5, 2 or 3 weeks to pass by so you to present your proof. You have proof. You confirm that proof is concrete within 2 or 3 days, and when you present it to the court, this is the proof that I have, Your Honor, that the machines were rigged. Not just have one affidavit, like she said she had one affidavit. One affidavit means crap compared to 74 million people that voted on the Republican and close to 80 million people who voted in the Democrat side. So that one affidavit means nothing. You have to bring several. You have to bring witnesses. You have to bring proof in front of a judge and say, the election was rigged. And they've done this 31 times, guys. 31 times Trump administration, the Trump lawyers have gone in front of the courts, and the courts have done nothing. It's very, very hard for the courts to get involved when it comes to politics, especially when it's the state's decision to do these things. They'll revert it back and say, this is a state decision. In most states, by law, it says they're going to go by the popular vote. And that's what he's gaining at. This is what the votes for the electoral vote has to go, because it should be fair, and you should vote by the popular vote. The more people, it's like anything else. I understand when the presidents of the United States did it back in the days. I understand why they did it. If you want me to make a video of that, you let me know. I don't understand why they did it, but now times has changed. We're talking about 1800s, 1700s. Times have changed. We're in 2020. Mentality has changed. Things have changed. Society has changed. And to think, and to think that you have this one man who doesn't want to concede, who doesn't want to say, you know what, I lost fair and square. Fine. Listen, Biden, the best of luck, blah, 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 blah. You come back in 4 years, you run again. If not, you just keep on. You already got your fan base. You're not going to lose that fan base unless you do something stupid, which I think he's done a lot of things stupid. That's why he got impeached. And even if he's afraid of what's going to happen to him after he leaves office, whether he's going to get criminally charged or civil charged, whatever it can be, that I don't care about, because that doesn't pertain to me. That's him. That's his own personal problem. So if you got tax evasion, if you got criminal charges, which you should be by the DOJ, depending on how the DOJ looks at this. So that's all different from what's going on today. Today we have a president who has not said anything about the coronavirus. Who we had yesterday, we had 2,000 people die, and now the Congress didn't pass a bill. Senate, I mean, they just say the Congress. When I talk Congress, I'm talking about the House of Representatives and the Senate. Didn't pass no bill. No bill was signed into law, so the people can get the help that they need, so they can get a stimulus package going on. People, if you want this country to move on, you don't want close downs, you don't want this, you don't want that. You have to put pressure on these people. Restaurants are going to close soon. A lot of restaurants are losing. A lot of restaurant owners are losing their business because of the shutdown. There are ways you can avoid for this shutdown to happen. There are ways for this to, but you guys don't listen. You guys don't wear your mask. You guys don't do this. You guys go to bars. You guys go to clubs. Well, you can't eat inside. You guys can't stay in your house for a month or two. Come on, that's all meant to games. Just stay in your house, be with your family. Oh, you can't do Thanksgiving. Oh, wow, Thanksgiving. What's a Thanksgiving? Is that a really special day? Thanksgiving can be done any day of the week, any day of the month, any day of the year. You got 365 days. You decide, you know what? We didn't celebrate Thanksgiving last year. We're going to do this year. We're going to do blah, 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 blah. You get your family members. You pick out a date that everyone can go to. That's choice, and boom, you do it. But you do it in a safe manner. Okay? 2,000 deaths is a lot. 252,000 people dead is a lot, people. I mean, he cannot prevented all those deaths. I mean, death is going to happen, but he can prevent most of them. Just by a simple word, wear your mask. Mandate mask. You don't have to mandate a shutdown, but you can mandate mask. Okay? And that's how you move forward. You know, a lot of people, a lot of Republicans say, oh, you know, you're infringing on my rights. This is not infringing on your rights. This is trying to save your life. Like I said, everybody's body reacts differently to every virus or anything that's foreign in our body. So what's good for me may not be good for you. What's good for you may not be good for me. You can react to COVID marvelously, get sick, or you get a fever or whatever, or not get a fever at all, and boom, and I can get it, and it can be detrimental, even fatal to me. So everybody's body is different. The immune system is supposed to work the same, but at times it does not do that. It's an immune system. It's cells that just goes crazy. They think on their own. You know, it's like you and I. We can think we do this. The cell is programmed to do a certain thing, and sometimes they do the right thing, and sometimes they don't do the right thing. You know, autoimmune disease is it's something that the immune system attacks itself, thinking that it's a foreign body. Why does it do that? We don't know. We really don't know, so we can't say. And so it's different. So if you mask up, you're reducing scientifically 80 to 85% of the chance of a person getting it, because if you got it and you're asymptomatic, you're not going to pass it on to somebody else. And I know it's hard. You know, you're at home, you go outside, then you're going to be at home, you're going to wear your mask. You don't wear your mask at home. I mean, if everybody wore their mask, then you don't have to worry about when you come inside. You wash your hands, you wipe things down. You don't know what other people. You don't know the hygienic habit of that other person unless you live with them for a long time. You know that person's big. I mean, you don't know where that person's been. You don't know where that person's touched. So you gotta be careful. So you wipe certain things down. So doing all that prevents a lot of lives from being lost. So when you look at where we are today to where we were back in January, we're worse. We're getting worse off now. Toward the beginning of the pandemic. This is because of false leadership. Republicans, do not let this man take you down with him. I don't know what the loyalty is to be loyal to Donald Trump or to any president. To any president. I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. I'm gonna do another video on Nancy Pelosi because I don't like Nancy Pelosi. You know, but the Democratic Party voted her again to be Speaker. I wouldn't have voted for her to be Speaker. She's not looking out for the best interest of the people. This woman's she got $13 million. I don't know why I keep saying this all the time. But she's not in the interest of the people. She's in her own interest. She goes into, if you see her when she's dressed up, her scarf's got to match her shirt. Her shirt's got to match her. Come on. You know, so Don't let this man bring you down. We all know that he lost the election. There's no rig here. There can be some votes that are on and off because it's in every election that happens. Human error. There can be maybe 1 or 2 votes that are off, maybe 100, 200, but not in the masses of thousands like he pretends to be. He can try to overturn a state count. That's not going to happen. And there's nothing wrong with having another Democratic president. Same way it wasn't wrong having a Republican president. I think that the people chose wrong when they chose Donald Trump. You had better candidates to choose from. Donald Trump did not do the economy anything good. He inherited an economy. People ought to people, if you realize and you study and you look up, you will see that Donald Trump inherited an economy that was already on the rise for 93 months. On the rise for 93 months. He just inherited and it just kept going up. Unemployment rate was kept going down through the Obama administration. When Obama took office, it was at 11.0. On the recession, when he left, it was at 4.7. From 11 to 4.7 in 8 years. That's a lot. And all Donald Trump did was, it was reduced from 4.7 to 3.5 in 3 years, in 4 years. Instead of a difference of 1.5 compared to 11. So who did more? Who inherited the economy, a good economy? Who inherited a good unemployment? And then to say that he did more for the black community than any president besides Abraham Lincoln? No, he did not. He didn't do nothing good for the black American community. I mean, black African community. He didn't do anything. He said unemployment for the African American community have gone down. That's because the African American community decided it's time for me to get up and get a job, and I applaud them for that. He didn't do nothing specific that said, you know what, I'm going to give blacks and Latinos more work. He didn't put a program that would say, you know what, I'm going to give you more work. I'm going to give you a program. Because, you know, there's a lot of black and Latinos who have criminal records. They can't get jobs with the criminal records. So if you tell me I'm going to block those non-violent crimes that have to do with either bank robbery or, crimes that are non-violent and there are felonies, let's block those and give these people a chance to re-enter society and get a job. Then I'll say, yo, that was great. So he didn't do much. And for people to say that he did a lot, he didn't do a lot. You know, he did the tax break, and that's about it. But that only enriches rich people. That only helps rich people. You know, there are companies out there who profited from this, and a lot of 401ks went up because you have more money to give. Of course, it's going to go up. But as starting this year, those little taxes that he gave you are going to start trickling back up until 2027. If you guys didn't know that, you might not notice it at the beginning, but it will. On 2027, you're going to be paying more. You're going to be paying more taxes than what you paid in 2016 under his provision, under his tax break law that he did, because he thought he was going to do another 4 years. So what he did was he did that, but put a little clause in it that says that starting 2021, the tax break will slowly go up. The percentage will go up until 2027. And in 2027, you'll be paying more than you were before he took office. Those are the things that you have to read. Those are the things that you have to know. I mean, don't just sit there and say, because Donald Trump says, "Oh, I took down the best economy. I did this for prison reform. I did this." No, check out the source. Check out what he says. And mostly 95% of the things that Donald Trump says is a lie. I'm not saying it. It's a fact. Look it up. You know, you cannot. You go to court, you convict a person because of facts, and sometimes those facts are hidden from the jury because the district attorney's office has an agenda that no matter at what cost, he wants to make sure that this person spends the rest of his or her life in prison for whatever reason. And sometimes the prosecution hold facts, key facts that would exonerate this person, and you will know that this person is not guilty, but they withhold that fact because they know they're not going to get in trouble. What's the worst they can do? This person gets convicted. He does years in prison. All right, and when the facts come out, The state gonna say, I'm sorry. The judge gonna say, I'm sorry. That prosecutor's not gonna be there. The prosecutor probably changed to become a defense attorney or went to a higher job or whatever the case may be. He's not. All he wants is that win column. So then when he or she does go up for promotion, or look, this person got this win. This how many wins. This is the percentage of conviction that this person. Because that's how they do it. They go by percentage of a conviction that a prosecution has, and that conviction rate is high. That means you're a good prosecutor in their eyes. So you're good for a judgeship, or you're good to U.S. district attorney, or whatever the case may be. So that's the way they do it. But they hide the truth at times and convict the person that they shouldn't be convicted. And that's a sad part. So the same thing with politics. Politicians are as corrupt as anything in the world. And by now, we should have had a stimulus package. By now, the country should be going through what we're going. We're going through the death that we're going now. We're going at the infection rate that we're going now because people don't understand. Now this is not a Donald Trump thing. Now this is a United States thing because we're into 8 months of this. 8 or 9 months into this coronavirus thing. And we know that social distancing is important. Washing our hands, hygiene is important. Wearing masks is important. And even with that, people still don't wear their masks. People still don't wear their hands. I mean, they don't wash their hands. They don't do nothing because they think, I'm not going to get it. If I get it, it's nothing. It's like the flu. No, it's not like the flu. It's not like the flu. And now I heard that the Senate didn't do anything about the Senate didn't do anything about the stimulus, but they're talking about hydrochloroquine because it's something that Donald Trump is behind it. He knows people who are behind hydrochloroquine. He wants to push that drug, a drug that's not been proven by the FDA to do anything by any standard scientifically. Not just by the FDA, by any this whole scientific world knows that hydrochloroquine doesn't do much. But he wants to push it because that's his agenda. He wants his friends to make money on this pandemic. Same thing with Cuomo. Cuomo came out with a book. He shouldn't have come out with a book. We're in a pandemic. You don't write a book about the pandemic while in the pandemic. That makes you look cheesy. That makes you look like you're in the interest of your own self. I mean, you can do that after the pandemic. Say how I control the pandemic, how I dealt with the pandemic, and people will buy that. But not a bestseller. What it can be. He's doing that. I don't like that. That part I do not like. That's why I don't like politics. I mean, I don't like politicians. I do like politics. I love politics. I just don't like the politicians that are behind this. Corrupt politicians. They only look for the interests of themselves and their future. That's it. But it's incredible. People, I want to say thank you to each Democrat and each Republican who came out and voted. Republicans learn to lose. The same way Democrats, I gotta learn to lose. It's time to move on the page. It's time to look forward hopefully for a better future. Whether Biden for 4 years and then whoever comes after Biden for another 4 years, whatever it is. We are all in this together. This is not a Republican thing. This is not a Democratic thing. This is an American thing. Remember this, guys. This is. We all got to stick together. That's why other countries laugh at us. And other countries say things about us because we're not together. We are divided. And this division that we have, if you believe it or not, is Donald Trump's fault. Because it spews the things that he says, the things that he spews out of his mouth are dangerous, are racist. And if you're a bigot, it makes you even more of a bigot because you're like, oh, Donald Trump said it. So if he said it's true. No, it's not true. If you're a bigot, you change your way. But racism is not the way to go. Okay? To be racist against another color because whatever personal problem you went through or whatever you were taught, that mindset should be changed because this world is for each and every one of us. The United States is the United States. United. The word united says together. That's what it means. We're only as strong as our weakest link, and our weakest link is Donald Trump.